Oh, so it's like Blair Witch.
Yeah. What's up, Internet? I'm never going camping again.
The guy who uploaded this video said it was from a tape he found in the Black Hills woods.
So yeah, Internet, we just saw Blair Witch.
The new one.
The new one. The sequel. The actual sequel.
Yeah, the actual sequel.
The official sequel. Directed by Adam Wingard and starring a bunch of people who are very pretty. Too pretty, perhaps.
What makes you say that?
Didn't seem real.
I had gripes with this movie.
I had a couple gripes, but nothing big.
Yeah, a couple, but nothing big.
So Blair Witch tells the story of 15 years after the Blair Witch Project's release. Heather Donahue's brother goes out into the woods to search for her with his documentary crew. And, you know,
Shenanigans ensue.
the Blair Witch is not happy with that. So, yeah, this movie has an interesting backstory I'm going to tell real quick. Hey, thanks, man. So, essentially, Blair Witch has been in production for a year and a half or so, and was being marketed as a film called The Woods that's supposed to be terrifying. So it was marketed as a film called The Woods. No one knew anything about it, just that it was a found footage movie that took place in the woods. And then at Comic-Con, it was supposed to premiere, and, you know, they said, hey, surprise, The Woods was a fake title, all these posters were fake, this trailer was fake. Guess what? It's Blair Witch. It was revealed that it was a Blair Witch movie 3 months before it came out, which is insane. Guerrilla marketing is awesome. A big concern of mine was whether this movie would capture the Blair Witch feel or not, because that's something that's not very easy to capture, and I think it actually caught it pretty well.
I think it caught it and improved on it.
I know you'll disagree. We have 3 different degrees because I disagree completely. Because I don't want.
You don't think it caught the Blair Witch feel?
No.
Really?
No.
How? Why? I'm curious.
I think it was much too doctored and felt way too pretty and professional to have a Blair Witch feel to it. I feel like it didn't have the amateur feel to it at all.
I completely disagree, because in modern day, in 2014, 2015, 2016, the movie takes place in 2014. But you have to keep in mind that the equipment they had in this movie
I'm
is...
not talking about the equipment necessarily. I'm talking about how we were talking about before, how they all look so pretty. And just
Well, that's...
the movements of the camera, their mannerisms, their actions, everything, something did not vibe with me. I'd have to see it again to point out the specifics, but something just didn't vibe with me, that it just seemed way too scripted for me to feel like the first one.
I see where you're coming from to an extent there, but I'm gonna go on my likes first real quick, and then I'll let you go.
I agree with you with that.
I feel that they managed to capture the Blair Witch feel right down to the fucking film grain in every single camera, which was awesome. I love that. It felt like a Blair Witch movie.
Do you want to put the camera on top of the cars?
So, I feel that it managed to capture the Blair Witch feel very well in that the movie takes place in 2014. And they're still amateur filmmakers. They're college students equipped with whatever they have necessary, which in modern day society means Bluetooth headset cameras, a drone. These are all things that people have very easy access to now, if you have money.
Or access to your school's film department.
Or access to your school's film department. That's true. But so I liked that it managed to capture the Blair Witch feel while also updating it. The acting, I think, was actually, for the most part, pretty solid. I don't think any of it... The script was a little off here and there, and the times that it felt a little too expository, a little too stilted, but for the most part, it all felt pretty solid. And the other thing that I loved, this movie was fucking intense.
Yeah,
Holy
I'll give you that. There
shit.
were some scenes that did have me going, whoa.
Dude, the last 30 minutes of this movie, my heart was pounding, and it didn't stop.
Yeah, no, the last 30 minutes of this movie were just pure gold.
I really, really liked
It might
this
have
movie.
even been like 40 minutes.
Might have been 40. From a certain point in the film till the end, it just doesn't stop. And the pacing was pretty good. I mean,
the pacing actually.
First 40 minutes or so were a little slow, but I mean, you know, it's Blair Witch. It's expected. But yeah, I mean, I was super impressed with this. The concerns that I had were, you know, pretty, like, all what's the word?
Invalid.
Yeah, I mean, all the things I was concerned with...
Overshadowed.
Yes, they were definitely, like... It managed to exceed my expectations in almost every way.
Like he said, I really like that it had that
Speak
Blair.
up, 'cause...
I like that it had that Blair Witch feel from the first movie. However, something that did better, I think it improved on it, is that instead of being boring all the way through, it picked up. Yeah, he hates me for this opinion. Acting was good for the most part. The one actress I had a slight issue with, but otherwise,
Which one?
the black woman, I forget her name.
Racist.
See, that's what I don't want to say.
She's black, racist.
No, it's not. It's
piece of
because I
shit.
felt like some of her lines were delivered in kind of like a toneless
Okay,
way.
anyway.
She had a root in her foot.
Yeah.
I love the special effects. Like, they were
Yes, they were very
few,
cool.
but the special effects were
The practical
fantastic.
effects were pretty cool. I like them. Well, they were
Yeah.
all practical effects.
Yeah,
I
no,
think.
I like that.
Yeah, I
A lot.
like that too.
Yeah.
Also, I like that this movie added a bit to the mythology of the whole Blair Witch universe.
I'll
and
give it that, yeah.
It gave
I
it a
like
bit
that.
of like almost a Lovecraftian feel, and I think that's really fucking cool. Yeah, so that's. You have anything to add?
It was intense at parts. There were parts that did keep me sitting on the edge of my seat.
You looked impressed throughout the whole thing.
I was. There was that tunnel scene really did me. Well, I'm also a little claustrophobic, so
Dude.
when it comes to
I'm
that, if
not
you're
claustrophobic.
claustrophobic, Jesus Christ.
If you're claustrophobic,
prepare
we're afraid of
yourself.
heights.
What?
We're afraid of heights.
Oh, yeah, no.
When she's climbing the tree?
Yeah, that had
That
me.
didn't bother me that much.
No, I'm saying, but if you're...
okay.
I'm saying for
Yeah,
people
I'm,
who are
I'm
like...
afraid of heights. That scene fucked me up, and I knew what was coming, too.
Yeah, oh...
From get-go, I knew what was coming. I was just, nope.
It had a cool story. It got intense at parts, and I liked the lore that I did like the lore that it added behind it. It gave the Blair Witch, the story of the Blair Witch, more of a
It added to
it gave it more
mythology.
depth. And I did like the footage. I don't care where the fuck they got it from, but I like the real footage of the search for Heather
I liked
and
the
Josh
way...
and Michael
The
from the
whole
first
thing
one.
just kind of felt really...
Oh, and that's something
Really
else I wanted to add
solid.
Also. And this is something that, if I'm wrong, correct me, but it was me and one other person we were with both thought we noticed it. There's distortion on the camera at times, and I think they put cuts from the first movie into the distortion in, like, single frames, like Fight Club-esque moments. If our eyes weren't fooling us, that's fucking awesome.
Anything involving, like, distorting reality or distorting time scares the shit out of me. That is terrifying. That's why Grave Encounters fucked me up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this movie almost had, like, a certain grave...
Certain aspects of it were very...
Especially the waking up at...
Don't-
Don't
say anything. Just let people experience this.
I'll let you find out what I'm talking about.
It really, 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 really was impressive to me. I do have a couple of issues personally.
Yeah, me too.
Number one, like I said, the actors are too pretty.
I don't have that complaint. I don't
That
know why
bothers
you're
me
saying
because look at Heather, Josh, and Mike in the first movie. They look like completely normal people.
that. I thought they looked pretty normal in this one, too. Minus the lead. Minus the guy.
And the girl. The lead girl.
I disagree.
And Talia.
Yeah, no, yeah. She was, yeah.
The only dude who I actually thought looked pretty normal was like the witch enthusiast guy. That's my biggest problem with this movie. And I didn't expect this to be the case anyway, because at this point everybody knows the Blair Witch is not real. This movie didn't have the same
Spoiler
realistic
alert.
this movie didn't have the same realistic feel that the original Blair Witch Project had. So that like I said, I wasn't expecting it to, but it was still I was hoping to be maybe pleasantly surprised with that. Also seeing The Witch, which I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, I
on.
have mixed feelings about that as well.
I'll touch on that
Go
toward
ahead.
the end of the review, but here, you want to go first? What do you dislike about it? What did you not like?
The first 40 minutes or so, I felt had a lot of false jump scares, which kind of bothered me.
Yeah, that's true.
That
That's
was
one.
probably
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, no, my
but
biggest gripe with the movie is just the amount of false jump
there
scares.
were a
in the
lot of
beginning.
false jump scares, but at the same time, there were a lot of legitimate scares too.
And not in the beginning, though.
Not in the beginning,
Only
that's
in the
true.
second
What?
half. No,
Not in the beginning, that's
I
true.
can't name a single one from like the first 40
There
minutes.
was some creepy shit, but there weren't any like
Yeah,
legitimate.
there was creepy
yeah.
and there was tone, but all the jumps
That's
were
true.
false.
Oh fuck, my battery's dying. Shit. All right,
Oh, Tom,
Go really fast.
finish.
quick, go.
Did not, in my opinion, it didn't have a Blair Witch feel to it. There were way too many jump scares. I had to jump on that bandwagon, but that's exactly what I was going to say. It felt way too forced at sometimes. I feel like characters were a little bland. They were underdeveloped. I feel like they were
That
way
was
too...
the other complaint.
I feel like they
didn't
were
really
way
like
too
it.
pretty, and I honestly didn't feel really attached to any of them. And I liked the story. I liked the plot, but I feel like I would have liked it a hell of a lot more. If it
I actually was
wasn't trying
attached to some of them, but
If it
No,
wasn't
yeah, some
tr-
of them, but
I
a
feel
lot of
like
them I disliked.
I feel like I would have liked this movie a hell of a lot more if it wasn't trying to ride Blair Witch Project's coattails.
okay, before this dies, I want to just say, seeing The Witch, I had mixed feelings on because, it was... Less is more. Less is more, and I feel that there were two instances where you see her that's so quick that you don't even have time to register it, but... And that worked. But then there was a third time that I didn't like.
Precisely.
Ratings, real quick. Go.
What are the ratings again? Go for really
Just.
I don't
Okay,
remember
I'm gonna
them.
say solid. It had some issues, but overall I enjoyed the fuck out of it, and I think it was really, really good.
I'm gonna say must see. I think it
Must
was
see, okay.
really well done. I really
What's below
enjoyed
solid?
Below solid is good for fans of blank.
What's below that?
it. Meh.
Nah.
Meh.
Seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
So solid, meh, and must see.
Yeah,
Differing
I
opinions.
mean, I think for fans of Blair Witch, I think it'll be really well accepted and
I
shit.
would say for people who don't like Blair Witch, it's really well accepted.
Well, for people who didn't like the first movie, thought it was too boring, I think it'll be well accepted. I personally thought it was really, really good, and I love the first movie. But it's gonna be very polarizing, I think, overall. That's it. Camera's about to die, guys. We love you.
Describe this movie though in a phrase.
I don't.
What's up, internet? I just a little different than what we usually do, but given that the camera died, I wanted to have a couple more minutes, just talk about some things, especially now that I've had some time to sit and dwell on all the positives and negatives of the movie. Now that I'm not high on the rush of just getting out of it. Overall, I felt that I enjoyed the hell out of it. It's very much like almost like The Force Awakens as a Blair Witch film, in that it follows the same narrative skeleton as the original movie, but then does a lot of new shit with it, and it captures the spirit of the original, but it's tonally very different with it, where the first one was a slow burn, and then this one is tension, and then just intensity for the last 40 minutes, and it doesn't stop. I love that. I thought that it was different enough from the first one to work in its own right, and it kind of reminded me of Alien and Aliens, and the way that those two are completely different types of movies, but in terms of, a franchise, Aliens is a totally worthy sequel to Alien, and Blair Witch is a totally worthy sequel to the Blair Witch Project. Like I said, some things I had issue with. I felt the script was a little janky at the start. There were far too many false jump scares in the first half of the film, and I still don't know how I feel about them showing the witch. I don't mind her appearance. It was just, I always believe, I'm a firm believer in that less is more, and that we could have done without ever seeing her. That in the idea that she was the woods, but then also at the same time, they ramp her powers up a lot in the sense that you feel her everywhere in the woods, but it also almost feels she's a little more physical. So I don't know. I liked the idea in the first one of her being just this intangible thing, but at the same time, I like this movie. This one feels more like a monster movie than a ghost story, and it works in some respects. It doesn't work in some respects, but overall, I feel that it is an absolutely worthy follow-up to the Blair Witch Project. I really like the fact that this essentially feels like a modernized version of the first one, but not in a way that feels gimmicky. There's nothing about it that really feels like in your face, like, oh, hey, modern times. It's just an updated version where now they're using all the equipment that would be available to student filmmakers in this day and age, and I thought that was really, really cool. Story-wise, like I said, it's the same narrative skeleton as the first one, in the sense that, you get a lot of the same story beats, for the first half at least. You get a lot of the same beats that the first one had, and going camping in the woods, they set up the campsite, rocks, stickmen, all that. But once a certain thing happens, it starts to go off on its own, and that's essentially the last 40 minutes of the film, which, holy hell, they're intense, and it just never lets up. It's just one thing after another, and it really is genuinely frightening. I felt I was shaking by the end of the film, and I think that's really, really, really good. But at the same time, I'm fascinated at how divisive this movie is, because I see a lot of people who are fans of the original loving it. I see a lot of people who are fans of the original hating it. I see a lot of people who hate the original loving it. I see a lot of people who hate the original also hating it. So it's so crazy to see all the differing opinions on this movie. I love the first one. I love this one. I think it's totally a worthy follow-up. I still think the first one's a better film overall, but I think that this was totally solid in terms of a sequel. I think it expands on the lore while also keeping true to all of the original stuff, and it's really, really, really cool, guys. I'd say check it out. I think it's a perfectly good time. I think if you're a fan of the found footage subgenre, which I'm not, but I think if you are, you'll love it. I'm not, but even if you like the first Blair Witch Project, I think you'll like it. Give it a shot, guys. Just check it out. You might actually be really surprised and enjoy the hell out of it. I just really wanted to tie up a couple of loose ends that I didn't get to discuss in the thing, but yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching as always, and like, comment, subscribe. We got a bunch of reviews coming up, so keep watching. Thank you.